In the high-stakes arena of American politics, where media strategies and voter outreach can make or break a campaign, an unlikely figure emerged as a key influencer in Donald Trump's successful 2024 presidential bid, his youngest son, Barron Trump. At just 18 years old, Barron, a freshman at New York University, stepped into the political spotlight not as a public figurehead but as a behind-the-scenes strategist whose instincts for connecting with younger audiences helped reshape his father's campaign. Credited by Donald Trump himself during the 2025 inauguration and by close family members like Lara Trump, Barron's contributions focused on steering the campaign toward non-traditional media platforms, particularly podcasts popular with young male voters, such as the Joe Rogan Experience. His rare public appearance at a July 2024 rally in Doral, Florida, and his debut on the social media platform X to promote his father's cryptocurrency venture further underscored his growing influence. This article delves into Barron's verified contributions to the 2024 campaign, exploring his role as a silent strategist whose media-savvy suggestions helped secure a critical demographic and contributed to Trump's electoral victory. The rise of Barron Trump as a political advisor. Barron Trump, born March 20, 2006, has largely remained out of the public eye compared to his older siblings, Donald Jr., Ivanka, Eric, and Tiffany. Raised primarily by his mother, Melania Trump, Barron spent much of his childhood shielded from the intense scrutiny that accompanied his father's political career. However, by 2024, as Donald Trump launched his third presidential campaign, Barron's interest in politics and his understanding of digital culture began to surface. Posts on X and media reports from outlets like the Wall Street Journal and the New York Post highlighted Barron's role as a trusted advisor, particularly in navigating the evolving landscape of media consumption among younger voters. At the time, the 2024 election cycle was marked by a polarized electorate and a fragmented media environment. Traditional outlets like cable news were losing ground to digital platforms, including podcasts and social media, where younger audiences, particularly Gen Z and millennial men, were increasingly active. Barron, as an 18-year-old immersed in this demographic, reportedly recognized the potential of these platforms to reach low-propensity voters who might not engage with conventional campaign strategies. According to a post by Ian Yeager 29 on X, Barron was one of Donald Trump's top political advisors, and was instrumental in pushing for outreach to Gen Z voters. While such claims on X require cautious interpretation, they align with statements from Trump family members and campaign insiders who credited Barron with shaping a modernized media strategy. During an appearance on Fox and Friends in December 2024, Melania Trump revealed that Barron, then a student at NYU's Stern School of Business, had urged his father to prioritize podcasts over traditional television appearances. This strategic pivot was a departure from the Trump campaign's earlier reliance on legacy media and large-scale rallies. Barron's insight was rooted in his understanding of his generation's media habits, where long-form podcasts and viral social media content often carry more weight than polished news segments. Lara Trump, co-chair of the Republican National Committee, echoed this sentiment in November 2024, stating that Barron deserved serious credit for convincing his father to appear on podcasts to connect with younger voters. Targeting young male voters through podcasts. One of Barron's most significant contributions to the 2024 campaign was his push for Donald Trump to appear on podcasts that resonated with young male audiences, a demographic the campaign identified as critical to its success. Exit polls from the 2024 election, reported by The Independent and The Washington Post, showed Trump decisively winning the male vote, with 52% support among 18 to 44-year-olds and 56% among those 45 and older. Notably, Trump secured more than two-thirds of non-college-educated white men and made significant gains among Latino men, defying expectations given his controversial rhetoric on immigration. This success was attributed, in part, to the campaign's focus on non-traditional media, with Barron reportedly guiding his father toward platforms like the Joe Rogan Experience, this past weekend with Theo Vaughn, and the Nelk Boys podcast. The Joe Rogan Appearance. The October 25, 2024, episode of the Joe Rogan Experience marked a pivotal moment in Trump's campaign. The nearly 3-hour interview, recorded in Austin, Texas, allowed Trump to engage with Rogan's audience of over 14.5 million Spotify followers and 17.5 million YouTube subscribers, predominantly young men. The podcast, known for its conversational style and diverse guest list, provided Trump a platform to discuss topics ranging from election fraud claims to extraterrestrial life, appealing to the manosphere of online influencers and content creators. Barron's role in securing this appearance was widely noted, with Trump himself acknowledging during a Fox News interview with Maria Bartiromo that Barron had introduced him to hot media figures popular with younger audiences. The Rogan interview was not without controversy. Trump reiterated debunked claims about the 2020 election and made exaggerated statements about crowd sizes, which CNN fact-checked as part of 32 false claims made during the episode. However, the interview's impact lay in its reach and tone. Rogan, a former supporter of Bernie Sanders and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., had previously called Trump an existential threat to democracy in 2022 but softened his stance after Trump survived an assassination attempt in July 2024. The friendly, unfiltered format allowed Trump to connect with listeners who valued authenticity over polished political discourse, aligning with Barron's strategy to target low-propensity voters who might otherwise skip the polls. On November 4, 2024, just before Election Day, Rogan endorsed Trump, citing a compelling case made by Elon Musk during a separate podcast episode. This endorsement, amplified by Rogan's massive audience, was seen as a major win for the Trump campaign, with advisors calling the Rogan appearance the crowning achievement of their media strategy. While direct causation is difficult to prove, the timing and reach of the endorsement likely bolstered Trump's appeal among young men, a group Barron had identified as key. Other podcast appearances. Barron's influence extended beyond Rogan's podcast. He reportedly advised Trump to appear on This Past Weekend with Theo Vaughn, which garnered 14 million views, and the Nelk Boys podcast, known for its prankster-turned political content with over 8 million YouTube followers. During the Nelk Boys interview, Trump hinted at the upcoming Rogan appearance, suggesting Barron's guidance was part of a broader strategy to dominate the podcast space. Other appearances included Impulsive with Logan Paul, the All In podcast, and The Sean Ryan Show, all of which catered to young, male-dominated audiences interested in topics like entrepreneurship, sports, and cryptocurrency. These platforms allowed Trump to present a hypermasculine image that resonated with the manosphere, a term used by The Independent to describe the online ecosystem of right-leaning influencers, podcasters, and content creators. Barron's understanding of this subculture, likely informed by his own exposure to digital media as a Gen Z native, enabled the campaign to tap into a demographic that felt alienated by traditional political messaging. By appearing on podcasts that discussed everything from UFC fights to conspiracy theories, Trump reached voters who might have tuned out mainstream media, fulfilling Barron's vision of a campaign that met voters where they were. The Doral, Florida rally, a rare public appearance. While Barron's contributions were primarily behind the scenes, his rare public appearance at a Trump campaign rally on July 9, 2024, in Doral, Florida, marked a significant moment. Held at the Trump National Doral Golf Club, the event drew thousands of supporters and was one of Trump's first major public appearances following an assassination attempt earlier that month. Barron's presence at the rally was notable, as he had previously avoided the campaign trail, unlike his siblings who frequently spoke at events or served as surrogates. At the Doral rally, Barron was introduced by his father to thunderous applause, a moment captured in news reports and shared widely on X. Trump praised Barron's height, standing at 6 feet 9 inches, and his intelligence, joking about his son's growing influence. While Barron did not speak at the event, his attendance signaled his willingness to support his father's campaign publicly, albeit in a limited capacity. Media outlets like the New York Post noted that the appearance was strategic, aimed at humanizing Trump and appealing to younger voters who saw Barron as a relatable figure due to his age and low-profile persona. The Doral rally also highlighted Barron's ability to influence campaign optics. His presence, alongside Melania, who rarely appeared at campaign events, underscored the family's unity at a critical juncture. The event's timing, shortly after the assassination attempt, added emotional weight, with Trump leveraging the moment to project resilience and family support. Barron's attendance, though brief, was a calculated move to reinforce the campaign's narrative of strength and continuity, aligning with his broader advisory role. Barron's X account and the Trump crypto venture. In another sign of his emerging influence, Barron made his debut on the social media platform X in 2024 to promote his father's cryptocurrency venture, a project tied to Trump's broader appeal to the tech-savvy, entrepreneurial demographic. While specific details about the crypto venture are limited, posts on X and media reports indicate that Barron's involvement was tied to his understanding of digital culture and his ability to navigate platforms popular with younger audiences. His X account, which quickly gained attention, was used sparingly but strategically to amplify Trump's campaign messaging and the crypto initiative, further cementing his role as a bridge to Gen Z and millennial voters. The cryptocurrency venture itself was a nod to the manosphere and its obsession with financial independence and decentralized systems, as noted by The Independent. Trump's embrace of crypto, including his own branded cryptocurrency, contrasted with his earlier skepticism, where he had called such products a scam. Barron's involvement in promoting this venture on X suggests he recognized the platform's potential to reach young, male voters who were active in online communities discussing finance, technology, and politics. His debut on X was less about personal branding and more about amplifying his father's campaign in spaces where traditional media had little sway. The 2025 inauguration, Trump's acknowledgement. During his 2025 inauguration speech, Donald Trump publicly credited Barron for his role in the campaign, a rare acknowledgement that underscored the young advisor's impact. While the exact text of the speech is not fully reproduced in available sources, posts on X and media coverage confirm that Trump highlighted Barron's contributions to the media strategy, particularly his push for podcast appearances. This moment was echoed by family members, with Lara Trump emphasizing Barron's role in connecting with Gen Z voters through platforms like X and podcasts. The inauguration, held on January 20, 2025, in Washington, D.C., was a high-profile event surrounded by heightened security due to concerns about election-related unrest. Barron's presence at the inauguration, alongside his mother and siblings, reinforced his growing stature within the Trump family's political orbit. Media outlets noted that his strategic input had helped shift the campaign's focus from traditional battleground state rallies to a digital-first approach, which proved effective in mobilizing low-propensity voters. The broader context: why Barron's strategy worked. Barron's influence must be understood within the broader context of the 2024 election's media landscape and demographic trends. The rise of the manosphere, as described by The Independent, encompassed a network of podcasters, influencers, and content creators who appealed to young men through themes of masculinity, financial ambition, and skepticism of mainstream institutions. Figures like Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, and the Nelk Boys, with their millions of followers, created an alternative media ecosystem that Trump's campaign tapped into, thanks to Barron's guidance. Exit polls revealed that Trump's gains among young men, particularly non-college educated white men and Latino men, were significant compared to 2020, when Joe Biden had a slight edge with younger male voters. Barron's strategy of prioritizing podcasts over traditional media aligned with the campaign's goal of reaching these voters, who were more likely to consume content on YouTube, Spotify, or X than on cable news. The conversational, unfiltered nature of podcasts allowed Trump to present himself as relatable and authentic, countering narratives of elitism or detachment. Moreover, Barron's focus on platforms like X reflected his understanding of the platform's role in shaping political discourse. X, with its real-time, user-driven content, was a hub for the manosphere and conservative influencers, making it an ideal space for the Trump campaign to amplify its message. Barron's debut on X to promote the crypto venture was a strategic move to engage with this audience, leveraging his father's brand while maintaining his own low profile. Challenges and criticisms. While Barron's contributions were lauded by the Trump campaign and family, they were not without scrutiny. Critics, including some Democrats, argued that the campaign's focus on the manosphere amplified divisive rhetoric, particularly around issues like immigration and gender. The Guardian noted that Trump's Rogan interview included attacks on Kamala Harris and other women, appealing to young misogynist voters who resonated with the campaign's hypermasculine tone. Barron's role in steering the campaign toward these platforms indirectly tied him to this criticism, though he himself remained a private figure who did not publicly engage in such rhetoric. Additionally, some questioned the extent of Barron's influence, given his youth and lack of formal political experience. While posts on X hailed him as a podcast consigliere, others suggested his role was overstated, with campaign advisors like Susie Wiles and Chris LaChivita likely playing larger roles in strategic decisions. Nonetheless, the consistent acknowledgement from Trump, Melania, and Lara Trump lends credibility to Barron's contributions, particularly in the realm of media strategy. Barron's role in historical context. Barron's emergence as a political advisor places him in a unique position among presidential children. Historically, first children have rarely played significant roles in campaigns, with exceptions like Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner during Trump's first term. Barron's influence at 18 is particularly notable, as he balanced his role as a college freshman with informal advising duties. His focus on digital media reflects a generational shift, where younger advisors are increasingly shaping political strategies to align with the preferences of their peers. Comparisons can be drawn to other young political operatives, such as David Hogg, who became a prominent activist after the Parkland shooting, or Greta Thunberg, who influenced global climate policy as a teenager. However, Barron's role was distinct in its behind-the-scenes nature, avoiding the public advocacy that defined figures like Hogg or Thunberg. His ability to influence a major presidential campaign while maintaining a low profile speaks to his strategic acumen and understanding of his family's political brand. The future of Barron's influence. As Donald Trump begins his second term in 2025, questions arise about Barron's future role. Unlike his siblings, who have taken on public-facing roles in business or politics, Barron has expressed no clear intention to pursue a formal political career. His focus on studies at NYU and his limited public appearances suggest a preference for privacy, though his success in 2024 may position him for greater involvement in the administration or future campaigns. The cryptocurrency venture, which Barron promoted on X, could also signal his interest in the intersection of technology and politics. As digital currencies and platforms like X continue to shape political and economic landscapes, Barron's early involvement may foreshadow a niche where he could exert further influence. However, any speculation about his future must be grounded in his verified actions, as he has carefully avoided the spotlight that his siblings have embraced. Conclusion. Barron Trump's role in the 2024 presidential campaign marks a remarkable chapter in the Trump family's political saga. As a silent strategist, he leveraged his understanding of digital culture to guide his father's campaign toward platforms that resonated with young male voters, a demographic that proved pivotal to Donald Trump's victory. His suggestions to prioritize podcasts like the Joe Rogan Experience, his rare appearance at the Doral, Florida rally, and his X account debut for the Trump crypto venture highlight a calculated approach to political influence. Credited by Trump during the 2025 inauguration and by family members like Melania and Lara Trump, Barron's contributions demonstrate the power of generational insight in modern campaigning. While he remains a private figure, his impact on the 2024 election underscores the evolving nature of political strategy in the digital age, where even the youngest voices can shape the course of history.